Check 1, 2, mic check. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. I'm sure our good friend Tech Ricky, co-host, running the ones and twos will let me know if you can't hear anything. I see Miss Wolverine in chat. Ricky's got his coffee ready. He's ready to get his study time on. Welcome to the stream. You have tuned in to Slay Cert Plus. My name is Jesse J, aka the Cosmic Cowboy, and here for the next 30 minutes, maybe an hour, we're going to crush some CySA Plus practice questions. I got my letter from CompTIA yesterday that I have 30 days to renew my Security Plus, which I honestly, now that I've had it for 3 years, it's not that big of a deal, but I like having it. And I figure let's level up, get our CYSA Plus together, bring you along for the ride if you're studying for yours. We use top tier industry resources. We do it live in a community style environment, and we hope that you find value. All right. Let's get ready to rock. I know people are here to answer questions. I'm here to ask them. But before we do, I'd like to let everybody know that each and every, I need some more coffee. Each and every episode of Slay Cert Plus is brought to you by the Daily Cyber Threat Brief. I'd like to thank Dr. Jerry Ogier, his 20 years of industry experience spanning multiple sectors, bringing his hot takes expertise into your world, helping you level up. Mentorship, maybe it's breaking into the industry or you want to have a better idea of what's going on in the cybersecurity landscape, exploits, bugs, hacks, shiny hunters, being cool and having great customer service. Whatever it may be, you can find it Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Again, thank you to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief for their sponsorship and their support of Slay Cert Plus. You know what we do? We rock CySA Plus practice questions, PBQs. Let's get into our question of the day. Yesterday we had one on beaconing. As you can see, I haven't even refreshed my browser since that session. Is it going to make us log in? Nope. We're on a 5-day streak. Let's keep it going. And let me know if the music is too loud. I prefer background music, so let me know. If it needs to come down, we can bring it down. All right, here's our question of the day. Assume HTTP malicious site.example is a site hosting malware, and safesite.example.net is a legitimate website. The HTML code below is a simple example of what technique? And we see the example here, right? We have obfuscated link, a honeypot, a script kiddie, or MQTT. Let's talk about, remember we read the question, we figure out what the question is asking, and then ideally we look for answers that stand out that are incorrect. It's pretty obvious on a lot of these questions. You're gonna have a couple answers that should scream out to you, hey, this is not correct. And then you will be left with 2 answers, and from those 2, you can deduce which one is the best fit for whatever the question is asking you, right? So here we go. It's asking us about this type of link. Well, we know that a honeypot is just basically a trap. It is exactly what it says it is. It's a honeypot to attract flies or bees. In this case, maybe it's just a file or something exposed to the internet that is benign but attracts threat actors. You can see their location. You can glean information, see some of the indicators of compromise without harming your environment. A script kiddie, we know that as a threat actor or a wannabe threat actor using publicly available exploits, copy paste, little skill and a lot of copy paste, some bad attitude. Obfuscated link, I think, is the most straightforward and appropriate answer for this question. So let's just send it and get on with the party. Boom. We are correct. Let's look at our explanations, because on MQTT is message queuing telemetry transport is a network protocol. So commit that to memory. And if you don't have it, I highly recommend the CySA Plus paper study guide, the book. It's like $30 online. All right, let's move on to our official practice questions from the CompTIA website. No, my password is not that short. It just makes it look like it's that short when it fills it in for you. We're going to continue to review domain 1.2. This is out of our security operations domain from the course objectives. We're going to start with 1.2, or I'm sorry, continue in 1.2. Given a scenario, analyze indicators of potentially malicious activity. We're going to start off right where we left off yesterday. A company hires a new employee to work in their IT department. The new employee quickly gains the trust of the coworkers. However, the company soon notices someone is accessing files without authorization and linking sensitive information. Which of the following best describes the security threat presented in the scenario? A phishing attack, B, an insider threat, C, a malware attack, or D, social engineering? Remember, let's look at the answers. What is not correct? Does not look like it's a phishing attack. We don't see anything to indicate that a phishing attack occurred. We don't see any malware attack. Now, although there could be malware present left by this threat actor, we don't see anything about a social engineering attack, right? There's no techniques of persuading or coercing somebody to do something or give information that they shouldn't. So the only possible answer here is insider threat. The person is brand new. They work in the company. Most likely, we're seeing an insider threat, option B. Correct. We're going to review some. So we left off, if you were in class yesterday, we were asked about how to prevent the incident from happening in the first place. Basically, what had happened is you're a security analyst, and we're seeing abnormal operating system processes and unauthorized changes in the network environment. We review the logs and we identify suspicious activities on a server. What could we have done to prevent? We all thought in class the correct answer would have been to use access control policies to limit access to sensitive data. The correct answer ended up being regular vulnerability assessments to identify and remediate vulnerabilities before attackers can exploit them. We knew yesterday that when we got this one wrong, that this was probably the actual correct answer. Let's see why CompTIA says it is. The analyst should conduct regular vulnerability assessments to identify and remediate vulnerabilities before attackers can exploit them. When the analyst can identify and remediate vulnerabilities, attackers will have more difficulty exploiting systems and software. The answer we selected was user access control policies would limit access to sensitive information and data, but would not prevent an attacker from exploiting a vulnerability. That is true. That is true. So looking at the context of the question, I see how we got that one wrong. I learned, CompTIA. All right, we're monitoring network traffic for a large financial institution. We noticed an unusual pattern of outgoing traffic occurring from on an expected port, right? We're seeing this traffic on an unexpected port. We're working. Which of the following actions should we take in response to this anomalous activity? Should we investigate the traffic, determine its source and destination? We selected that, which was correct. We don't want to immediately block traffic on the unexpected port because we could be interrupting business operations, and we don't want to do that. They say the other correct answer was to alert the manager and other relevant parties, which we thought that might be the correct answer. And we went with monitor the activity for a longer period to confirm that it's not just a temporary anomaly before we start raising any kind of flags. Okay, I learned. More learning and review. An analyst is reviewing logs and notices unusual traffic spikes and activity on unexpected ports. Further investigation reveals that the traffic originates from a group of servers on the network. What is the best course of action for the analyst to take in response? We selected B to deploy additional network monitoring tools to investigate the source of the traffic. The correct answer in this case would have been isolate. We see the unexpected traffic, and we as responders should isolate and determine if it's malicious. Don't wait. Don't just deploy more monitoring tools to investigate the source of the traffic. Let's isolate, determine, and go from there. Isolating the affected servers is a more urgent priority than conducting network audits when the analyst detects suspicious activity on the network, as it helps to contain the potential damage caused by the incident. So they're reasoning with us. CompTIA is agreeing. They're saying, hey, listen, we get it. In the real world, you might deploy additional network monitoring tools to see the source before we isolate anything, because it might bring down, if we isolate the servers from the network, let's say it does bring down business operations or impact patient care if it's maybe a hospital situation. But in this case, CompTIA recognizes that we see that, but at the end of the day, they want us as incident responders to go, okay, we need to isolate this. Let's triage. Oh, it's benign. All right, let it go. Let it free. Oh, it's not benign. This is actually malicious. Time to begin incident response procedures to the next phase, right? That's what I gleaned from that. So let's keep rocking. A security analyst discovers a malicious process running on one of the servers exfiltrating data to an external IP address. The process has not been detected by the antivirus software. Which of the following is the most likely reason that the malicious process was able to exfiltrate the data undetected by the antivirus software? So we read the question. Let's review it one more time, make sure we know what it's asking us. We're an analyst. We discover a malicious process running on one of the servers, and it's setting our private data to somewhere else. The process did not get picked up by our antivirus software, and we want to know, why was the malicious process able to do what it did, and why did it not get picked up by the antivirus? Is it A, because the antivirus software was not up to date? Is it B, because the antivirus software was not configured to detect this type of threat? Was it C, the antivirus software was disabled by the attacker? Or was it D, the malicious process was disguised as a legitimate system file? For some of you, this may be a review question. For some, it's brand new. Put your answer in chat. And I'm going to pick up some of these magic cards that I spilled, because when I grabbed that study book, I spilled my entire collection on the floor, which is all like 100 cards, but still. Miss Wolverine is going with answer D. Tech Ricky is also putting D in chat. I'm going to take a drink of coffee here. Kenneth Lowy, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the party, pal. Haven't seen you in a minute. All right, let's review some of these possibilities. The antivirus software not being up to date should still detect ongoing threats, even if it's not for maybe we're not looking at a signature, right? The antivirus software should still detect a malicious process. But why didn't it? Was it because it wasn't configured to detect this type of threat? It should have been still configured to at least detect that malicious processes were running and to give you the option to verify them. The antivirus software was disabled by the attacker, possibly. Or D, the malicious process was disguised as a legitimate system file. I'm gonna go with answer D, and that is correct. A security analyst at a large financial institution monitors traffic for any unusual activity. The analyst notices an unusual spike in network traffic occurring on an unexpected port, indicating possible malicious activity. Which of the following actions should the analyst take in response to this anomalous activity? And then we get the two best options. Should we alert the manager and other people? Should we monitor the activity for a little bit longer to make sure it's not sus? Should we investigate the traffic and determine where it's coming from and where it's going? Cotton Eye Joe. Or should we immediately block the traffic on the unexpected port because it could be malicious? This is a review question. We should alert the manager and investigate the traffic to determine its source and destination. And I'm sure. Let's send it. Yes. Here we go, team. A security analyst analyzes application logs to identify any suspicious activities and notices that one of the company's recently resigned employees had downloaded a ton of data right before they left. What is the analyst's most appropriate next step based on the scenario? All right, we're analysts. We're looking for sus activities in our environment. We noticed that somebody who had recently quit had taken with them a large amount of data. What is the most appropriate next step? Is it A, to check the company's firewall logs to identify any external connections the former employee made? Is it B, review the network's DNS logs to identify any unusual connections to external domains? Is it C, to notify authorities and report the incident to further prevent data theft? Or is it D, to block the employer's access to the company's server to prevent any data exfil? So again, kind of went over what we're doing. Guy left, he downloaded, we noticed a bunch of data before leaving. What's the next step? We check the firewall logs to see if he was connecting with anybody made externally by the former employee. Hey, Cybersecurity, welcome to the party. Do we review the DNS logs? Do we notify authorities and report the incident to prefer data theft? Or do we block the access? Have we stopped to consider option A? Check the company's firewall logs to identify any external connections made by the former employee. So we realized that one of our company's resigned employees downloaded, so this has already been done. Now we want to block exploitation, but did they do anything with the data they took? Did they exfil it out to any competitors, APTs? Is there any beaconing going on? I'm going to go with A. You guys may be right with D, D, and C. I'm going to go with A. And if we're wrong, then it's most likely going to be D. And we can review that question. Let's get volume down on music. Just a bit. Gosh, guys, you should have told me that the volume was so loud on the stream. Check one. Tech Ricky, his argument is, I would think to block the access first. You can review the firewall logs after you block the access. So D first, just block the former to prevent. Okay. Cybersecurity is saying we should D block, C notify authorities, and then A check the logs, investigate. All right, let's go with block. I'm gonna listen to class. I'm gonna listen to my peers, fellow analysts and test takers alike. Well, it did not like D. We will review that one, class. Moving forward, a company has recently upgraded the latest version of the web application. They couldn't even give us a generic name. All right, so we recently upgraded to the latest version of the web application. During a review of the logs, the security analyst noticed an unauthorized change made to the web application by an unknown user. Which of the following logs would most likely provide information about the unauthorized change? A, a system log, B, an event log, C, a security log, D, an application log, or E, you don't know yet, which is also acceptable. Tech Ricky, you're curious to the reasoning to the previous question. I am too, because I selected the answer that you guys all did, and I got it wrong. It said to check the firewall logs. I was being a little cheeky and coy, like I was taking that question for the first time. I'm still not 100% sure, but when we review it, we'll look through that. Ha, Miss Wolverine! It's the ultimate web application, the one to replace all others. Oh gosh. Nerds. That's a good point, Sean. Or sorry, Cyber Shinigami. Maybe they're assuming access was revoked upon resigning. Remember, he might not have access. He might have been fully offboarded. All the procedures completely shut down. The previous question said that we noticed that a large amount of data was downloaded. Anyways, with this one, are we looking at our system log, event log, security log, or application ID? System log tells us when things are going on with... I never want to assume that others have done their job. It's all good. No, I agree 100%. I agree. Cyber Shinigami, I agree 100%. Tech Ricky is going with D, application log. Anybody else have input on this question? The company has recently upgraded to the latest version of the web application. I thought we were going to look at application logs. Oh, we're correct. Moving on. And here we go. Here's a review question, team. An analyst is reviewing logs and notices an unusual traffic spikes and activity on unexpected ports. Further investigation reveals the traffic originates from a group of servers on the network. What is the best course of action for the analyst to take in response? A, ignore the unusual activity as it may be a false positive or normal activity. B, to immediately shut down the affected servers and restore them from the most recent backup. Is it C, to isolate the affected servers from the network to prevent further malicious activity and initiate incident response procedures? Or is it D, to deploy additional network monitoring tools to investigate the source of the traffic? What do we want to do, team? We see an unusual spike in activity on some unexpected ports. We look, we go, oh my gosh, holy camole, holy guacamole. That traffic is originating from a group of servers on the network. What should we do next? Do we ignore it? Do we immediately shut down the servers? Do we C, isolate the affected servers from the network to prevent further malicious activity, initiate incident response procedures? Or do we D, deploy additional network monitoring tools? Kenneth Lowy says deploy on his choice. So if their choice was to deploy, I think what CISA Plus, what CompTIA is trying to drive home is isolate. If you see something that is unusual traffic spikes on unexpected ports, I bet they're trying, because the last one we assumed the less intrusive option and we are wrong. I can't remember. Exactly. Don't want to pull down a server unless the house is burning. And that was our thought in previous questions, and we got dinged on it. I'm going to send it. I'm going to isolate and see what we get. That's what they want us to do. So remember, size of plus takers, the CompTIA is really getting us to think of the incident response framework. And you have to remember, folks, Cyber Shinigami here in class works in SOC, digital incident response. He literally works in these areas. And so he's got a great point, and he understands you don't want to pull a server down unless the house is burning. Remember what we said every stream. Number one, life and limb. Number two, business operations. If it's not life and limb, it's business operations. 100% all of the time. The bottom line, how much money? Of course they care about data, but does the data equal money? If it does, then people are listening. Yeah, she chose C because of the other question, Miss Wolverine. I feel you on that one. All right. An analyst investigates a suspicious process running on a server. The analyst discovered unexpected output and registry anomalies. Which of the following are true regarding unexpected output and registry anomalies during security operations? We get to pick two options, and our options are A, registry anomalies can be used by legitimate software updates. Registry anomalies can be caused by legitimate software updates. B, unexpected output can indicate malware activity. C, unexpected output can be a result of incorrect command syntax. Or D, registry anomalies always indicate a security breach. Pick two, team. It's like ordering from a Mexican food restaurant. Pick two. Do you want to do a crispy chile relleno and I don't know, a chimichanga, a crispy chimichanga? Do you want a soft chile relleno and a chimichanga? Do you want a burrito and a flauta? What do you want? What two options do you want from this menu? Thank you, Kenneth Lowy. I'm telling you, what happens, that's part of being in cybersecurity is we want to be technical and right all of the time, but it's a learning process. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. He makes a really good point, and if you're listening to this, maybe while you're driving or on stream, I'm a 2-level SOC analyst and network engineer, and he's wrong all the time. Man, it's just part of the name of the game. He likes chilies. Pick two. Carnitas, por favor. I made homemade carnitas last year, and they were absolutely delicious with the orange. And I love fajitas. We have fajitas at home. Kinder's makes a really good fajita seasoning. All right. I don't think anybody is fully aware of this question. I wasn't at first. Registry anomalies can be caused by legitimate software updates. These two. And I'm unsure. I was unsure, and we were correct means that we have to review it. You don't have to review it if you're sure. Here we go. A security analyst is monitoring a network for any irregularities, notices a significant increase in beaconing and irregular peer-to-peer communication on one of the company's servers. Which of the following best describes the potential threat of this situation? All right, we have an IOC, indicator of compromise. What do we think it could be? Could it be A, data exfiltration? Could it be B, malware propagation and system compromise? Could it be C, PrivEsc or privilege escalation and credential theft? Or could it be D, phishing and spear phishing attacks? What is this question asking us? A security analyst monitoring for irregularities. We see an increase in beaconing, boop, 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 and irregular peer-to-peer communication on one of the company's servers. Which of the following best describes the threat? Is it data exfil and infiltration? Is it malware propagation and a full system compromise? Is it D, privilege escalation and credential theft? Or is it is it D, phishing and spear phishing attacks? The key word that should stand out to you on this question is the irregular peer-to-peer communication. Tells me that we could be looking at malware propagation and system compromise. I thought it might be data exfil, then understanding a little bit more about beaconing and how peer-to-peer communication. Where it's going to be B, malware propagation and system compromise. That computer has been compromised and it is communicating on a peer-to-peer network to something else that it shouldn't. Moving on. There has been a great delay in our stream chat, so moving on. A security analyst for a corporation notices abnormal operating system processes. Are we back, team? Let me know. Let me know in chat if we're back. Let me know if we're back. Technical difficulties. I said, I see, oops, communication lost. I didn't go anywhere. Are we not live? All right. I don't know what happened there. I looked up and we had 0. Give it the old Fonzie bump. I did. Hey. So we knew the going back to the question at hand, man. Regular vulnerability assessments, because we put out user access control policies. Great. That may prevent sensitive data from being accessed, but it's not going to do anything if there's a vulnerability that can be exploited. So that's going to be our correct answer. I am saying this. Let me know when you hear this, and I'll tell you the delay. What number comes after 1, 2, 3, 4? What comes after the number 4? Okay, that's about the normal delay. Refresh your browser. It's wicked. It's killing us. So reviewing this question, this is the one about the data exfil with the employee that had recently resigned. I'm not going to reread the question verbatim. Remember what we did. Checking the company's firewall. Let's go ahead and look at the reasoning. By checking the company's firewall logs will help the analyst identify any external connections made by the former employee, which can indicate whether the employee has shared the company data with external parties. Blocking the former employee's access to the company's server may not prevent data exfil if the employee has already shared it with external parties, which I said that, remember, team. I said it's already been downloaded, guys. The analyst should investigate the incident further before reporting it to the authorities. We don't know what's going on yet. Getting the authorities involved is a whole... Once you get legal authorities involved, law enforcement, federal authorities involved, in cybersecurity incidents, if you get them involved in anything like that, right? Anything might be criminal, it's going to be a completely different ballgame. So we want to hold off before we burn the house down. So you don't want to call the cops yet. And reviewing the DNS logs will not help the analyst to identify any external connections made by the former employee, since DNS logs only provide information on domain names and IP addresses associated with network connections, not the user or device that initiated the connection. So, firewall logs, see if there was any exfiltration that was successful. We are unsure, but we are correct on this one. This is a review question for us. This was the one where we need to alert the manager and other relevant parties, and we want to investigate the traffic to determine its source and destination. Don't we want to prevent further data exfil? We do, Miss Wolverine. Going back to that previous question, we do want to prevent the previous data exfiltration. What the question wants us to consider is if this insider threat has already downloaded the information, we need to see if what external connections were made to see if any of that data went somewhere, and we can start to figure out. At the end of the day, you're doing damage control. You want to see, holy smokes, how much data did they get? Where did it go? And what do we need to do next, right? At the end of the day, in the real world, it's probably going to be exactly as it follows. We're going to find out about the former employee. This is what it's going to look like most likely in real life. What about the employee that resigned? You're going to see the data exfil. Somebody either on the IT team, or if you're a small one-stop shop, is going to confirm first and foremost, hey, is this guy revoked? Is everything turned off? Are all sessions turned off? Is his MFA disabled? Is his access to our entire infrastructure, is it disabled? You're going to do that anyways. That's one of the first things you're going to confirm. But at the same time, you're probably going to be checking firewall logs to see, hey, did this data get exfiltrated elsewhere? If so, how much? Where did it go, right? We're using network monitoring tools to maybe assess the amount of the damage. So in the real world, that's probably how it's going to operate. In the CompTIA CISA Plus world, that's not how they want us to see it. They want us to see it differently. So we have to work with kind of those answers they give us. We're confirmed with that data. Did it go? How much of it left? Right. Incident response lifecycle, analyze comes before contain. Confused me at first too. I feel like in reality, at least in the practice, in when I've been on an incident, It's kind of an analyze, and you look at what systems you kind of analyze and isolate. It's not really, we're going to step one, analyze, and we're going to analyze it until we're 100% certain that there is zero risk and there is zero threat actor, and only if there is are we going to contain. You're kind of going to do a combination. You're going to start to look, get a severity level. Okay, if data was taken, what we need to probably do is isolate, and then we can kind of, so it all kind of flows, ebbs and flows, right? And you kind of go back and forth. 100% Cyber Shinigami, CompTIA, and other cert bodies, so certification bodies, they want the best answer, and it's not always going to be the real world answer or in the order of how it happens in the real world. All right. A security analyst for a corporation notices abnormal operating system processes, behavior, and unauthorized changes in the network environment. The analyst reviews the logs and identifies suspicious activities on the server. The analyst could have implemented which security operation practice to prevent the incident from happening in the first place. We get it. The vulnerability assessments. Wait. Yep, vulnerability assessments. All right, D, vulnerability assessments on this one, team. We're a security analyst for a corporation. We notice abnormal operating systems and unauthorized changes in the network environment. We review the logs and identify suspicious activities on the server. The analyst could have implemented which security operations practice to prevent the incident from happening in the first place. A, user access control policies to limit system access and data. B, regular backups to quickly restore systems in the event of a compromise. Should we have implemented incident response procedures to quickly detect and respond to security incidents? Or D, well, we should probably have, what security operations practice? We should probably have C, shouldn't we? Incident response procedures to quickly detect and respond to security incidents. It's either going to be that or A. When I see unauthorized changes, I think access control systems. What do we think, team? Tech Ricky, Cyber Shinigami. Miss Wolverine's going with D, the regular, both. Everyone is going with A, user access control policies to limit access to sensitive data. And if we're wrong on this one, the correct answer is probably going to be D, the vulnerability assessments, or C, incident response procedures. This is a tricky question. We got some mixed answers in chat. Yeah, it's going to say, yeah, dang it. We're so close to getting through this module. A security analyst application logs to identify. Here we go. This is our former employee question review again. What do we want to do, team? We want to see if they did anything with the data. Obviously, the first thing we're probably going to do is make sure that we've blocked the access, that's all been properly offboarded. At the same time, we're going to be checking DNS logs, and we're going to be checking firewall logs. But what we're looking at here is the first thing we want to do is we want to check the firewall logs. We're going to assume this has already been done. We don't want to notify the authorities until we know what's going on. Boom. Peer-to-peer communications, malware propagation, and system compromise. These are review questions. Let's see if it helps us. An analyst reviewing logs notices unusual traffic spikes and activity. Okay, here we are on unexpected ports. Upon further investigation, reveals that traffic originates from a group of servers on the network. What is the best course of action for the analyst to take in response? We're going to isolate. Correct. We're crushing this, team. The security analyst discovers a malicious process running on one of the servers, exfiltrating data to an external IP address. The process has not been detected by the antivirus software, which is the reason that we didn't detect the process. And the reason is because the malicious process was disguised as a legitimate system file. Even if the antivirus software was not up to date, because the malicious process looked legitimate, the antivirus didn't notice it or pay mind to it. Now, I feel like this again is one of those answers that in the real world, if you're messing with unpatched or unlicensed or poorly configured antivirus solutions, maybe you have malicious process detection turned off for whatever reason. And so I think that this question threw me off for sure. What we're looking for is, okay, the malicious process running tells me that it was disguised as a legitimate system file. A company's IT security team discovers that one of their servers is experiencing a significant increase in drive capacity consumption. Upon investigating, the team identifies several malicious processes running in the background. Which of the following best explains the relationship between drive capacity consumption and malicious processes in this scenario? Is it A, the malicious processes are causing the server to use up more drive capacity than usual, potentially for data exfiltration purposes? That's what I'm going to go with. B, the server's drive capacity consumption is causing the malicious processes to run in the background. So like an opposite effect. I don't think that's true. The malicious processes and the increased drive capacity consumption are unrelated, and the issue could be caused by a hardware failure. So I'm on the security team. I'm not going to investigate. It's probably just a bad drive. That's not a good answer. Or the server's operating system is corrupted, causing both the increased drive capacity consumption and malicious processes to occur. I think the malicious processes are causing the server to use up more drive capacity than usual, potentially for data exfiltration. Why would we ignore that as analysts? I'm going to go with A. If you want to drop a different answer in chat, let me know. Miss Wolverine is also going with A. A. Bitcoin mining. Exactly, Tech Ricky, Bitcoin mining. I love crypto. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. User access control policies. All right, we get it. Vulnerability assessments to identify and remediate before attackers can exploit them. So this is the review question. We're almost done with this module. It looks like we have 2 questions left. So again, we want to prevent the incident from happening in the first place. We're identifying the suspicious. What could we have done? The vulnerability assessments to identify and remediate before attackers can exploit them. Here we go. Man, this one, CompTIA really wants us to understand this one. Here's our former employee that downloaded a large amount of data before leaving. What should be our next step? Remember, in the real world, we've probably already confirmed that the identity has been blocked and that all their sessions have been canceled. Let's check those logs. How much data was exfilled to our damage control? Here we go. They want us we see the malicious activity on the server. How do we prevent it? They want to see the vulnerability scans. Congratulations, we've mastered this module. Continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we're slaying it. It took us a little while to get through some of these questions. As you can see, I started off pretty shaky on some of these. for whatever reason, we can review those. We're not going to do that today. Let's see where we are and prepare for our next session tomorrow at the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. So we've gone through 1.1 and 1.2. I'd love to get through 1.3 tomorrow. It's approximately 53 minutes. In reality, it's probably going to be a little bit longer, but I'd like to get through 1.3 tomorrow. And then if we could have all of domain 1 wrapped up by Monday of next week, that would be ideal so that we can hit next week into domain 2, vulnerability management. So we are following the exam objectives exactly as they're written. Good reminder, Tech Ricky. Tech Ricky wants everybody to know, hey, we're coming up on an hour if you are on a lunch break. I know myself, I use my lunch break to stream with you guys, and then I usually power something down in the form of a shake at my desk while I return to work. If I don't have a meeting sometimes, I will go for a walk or go for a workout or something. Maybe I'll build the deck with these goofy cards. What am I doing here, Dr. Ozier? What have you got me into? Anyways, hey, everybody, you guys did a absolutely killer job today, bang up job. Thanks for hanging out during the technical difficulties. Thanks for sticking with us and all of the support of Slay Cert Plus, Say Sec Plus when we did that. It's been awesome having this community. I genuinely thank you for hanging out and helping me study. When we win, we all win, right? So I'm going to grab some food. Maybe so you got to go back to work. Same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. What is it? 2 p.m. Eastern time. For me, that's lunchtime. We'll catch you later. I got to run. From Tech Ricky, myself, and the Slay Cert Plus community. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and take care of each other. See ya!